remembers every step, though no one calls my name. I kept alive beneath the frost, waiting all the same. A single flower found the dawn, where silent winter stayed. The years I carried all alone slowly slipped away. If spring should lose its way again, follow where the flowers grow. Every promise, every tear lies beneath the snow. If someday you remember me, don't look back in sorrow. Some goodbyes become the light that leads us to